From the foregoing and looking also into the impunged letter of Dr. Sam Oula, a medical director at Aga Khan, the applicant has demonstrated that the events after the discharge of the deceased from Aga Khan Hospital on the 14th May 2022 should be subjected to investigation to establish the cause of death. This can only be done by conducting an autopsy on the body of the deceased, and to succeed in that, the deceased body has to be exhumed to aid in conducting the inquest that was mentioned by the applicant in inquest number 12 of 2022. That being the case, the application dated the 6th of July 2022 is hereby merited, and the same is allowed as prayed.
And the deceased other siblings were never informed of the deceased's death or the burial plans, and only came to learn later through a family friend that the deceased had been buried. The owner directives issued by the OCS Central Police Station was for the body of the deceased to be preserved pending investigations to ascertain the death of the deceased, which directives were ignored. Your Honor, we submit that the whole process of the burial was suspicious to the immediate family of the deceased, who up to now are still questioning the circumstances in which the deceased died.
Here we are saying we believe that if these orders are granted, it will enable the investigation team to ascertain the deceased cause of death, which favors truth and justice in the circumstances. Now, I have looked at these replying affidavits. First of all, starting with the one of Dr. Brian Wazuri. Now, the other reports given in the application supporting the affidavit. The report by the doctor from Aga Khan is done by the medical director, one Dr. Sam Oula. He is a medical doctor, and he narrates everything that happened. It's a full report, it is in court. In countering that, this Dr. Wazori, Brian Wazori, purports now to counter that and rubbish Dr. Oula's report. Starting with paragraph 1, he says that he's a registered doctor, but he's a clinical officer.
A request to exhume a body at the instance of an accused person is one that calls for the balancing of rights of the deceased family. So in this case, the deceased family's wishes have to be considered. The rights of the deceased family to have the deceased body remain undisturbed and respected in accordance with their religion and traditions. That is the first consideration to be given. Well, there's one family member here who doesn't feel the same. He wants the body to be disturbed. Factors which implicate rights to culture and religion, as well as dignitary and privacy rights of the family on the one hand, has been committed. So,
is the administration of justice. The DCI is a public office, mandated under the Constitution. DPP saying, DPP written to DCI, invest. You look at paragraph 35 of the said authority. It talks about section 9.1 of the one I've mentioned, Victims Protections Act. Have any dispute that can be resolved by the application. Paragraph 75 of the said authority. It says participation by victims does not.
verdict, we had gone either way, so it was gone against our client, and our instructions were clear that appeal against the order will go against it. So
Yes, to make a formal application. I think if we know how to move the court, I don't think we, otherwise all of us will be making oral applications without any advancement